my name is Professor David Austin. I'm the Chair of Archaeology in the University of Wales Trinity Saint David, based on the Lampter Campus, and God help me, I've been there 35 years, setting up the Department of Archaeology there, and I'm immensely proud of it. And we've got a long tradition of working with communities and with volunteers and so on. Indeed, archaeology as a subject has for a long time been volunteer-based. People love turning up, doing some digging, finding things, and so on. And we got some, I think, a couple of big projects that you may be interested in, that I'm quite happy to tell you about.
Tell us, yeah.
Okay, well, let's start with Carmarthenshire, because this is something really quite new. It's not the biggest one, but it's something I'm really very, very excited about. Back in 1999, I was looking around the National Botanic Garden of Wales, and we found in the field, just across the lakes from the main body of the garden, we found the garden of the 16th and 17th century surviving as archaeology, together with the original mansion of Middleton Hall.
Wow.
And this summer we got some money from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and we used the volunteers inside of the National Botanic Garden setup to do an excavation of those gardens and to do some geophysics and aerial photography. And we found it. It's actually there. We dug it up. We found parts of the remains of the house. We found gravel paths for the beds of the gardens, actual dug beds as well, and digging down into an ornamental pond.
How long did that take then, that project?
Well, the digging bit took about 2 weeks, because we were just sort of digging a few small holes just to get ourselves, make sure we were right, that we'd identified this place properly. But then we also did, and it took about 2 months really, on and off, bits and pieces here and there, the aerial photography, something called geophysics, which is the way in which you see under the ground. That's a very time team thing to do. What it is, you use various electronic and magnetic impulses to see if you can find stone. A
bit like a submarine, isn't it? Well, you use
no, it doesn't go under the ground. No.
But
what you send electronic impulses into the ground, and you read the signals. Basically, these radio signals are bouncing off things.
And then back, and then you can tell.
Exactly. Yeah. That's basically what's happening. There's a bit more science to it than that, as you might imagine. But
I'll watch Time Team for that.
Yeah, watch Time Team for that. But we got tremendous results from that. And now what we're doing, sitting down with the Botanic Garden and considering whether we can run a long-term project on that site with the volunteers and with some of our own students from the university. And of course these things take money, they take a bit of organisation and so on.
What would that look like, a long-term project? Would it be extending the Botanic Gardens, or would it be setting up a new type of touristy area where people could come and see, or would it be, how would that take shape?
Yes, all of the above. I think really what it's waiting for is the garden to, in a sense, make some strategic decisions. In a way, we could just do a little bit of the archaeology, find a few things, write it up, perhaps make a poster out of it and walk away. That's the kind of basic minimum. We've achieved that already. Or at the other end of the spectrum, you could say, how's about digging it all up, reconstructing it all? I don't think we'd ever reconstruct the house. So far too many posh men's houses around this countryside anyway. But what we could do is reconstruct the garden, a 17th century garden, on the edge of the National Botanic Garden. Now, how cool would that be?
Be interesting, kind of.
A lovely juxtaposition with the modern garden, with the science there. And we could certainly be using science. Hopefully in the pond we'll get all the pollen of all the plants that were grown there in the 17th century, and we should be able to reconstruct even down to individual species and subspecies, the plants that are grown inside of the garden. So that would then, you would have two kinds of tourist attraction.
Yes.
One would be the actual performance of doing this, particularly over the summer months, and people then would lock into it and actually participate or come and view it or follow it on local radio and community radio and all these sorts of things that are now becoming open to us. We were twittering all the time. Wow. I can't Twitter. I mean, I wasn't brought up as a bird, so I'm not going to Twitter. So
more into plants.
Yeah, yeah, man. Definitely more into plants.
Groovy.
Yeah, groovy. You can tell how old I am. For you, it's retro. For me, it's the original, isn't it? Now, But then what you end up with is a completed thing that people can walk around and so on and see the contrast between these.
So they can be part of the process as well as see the outcome.
Absolutely, see the end result, and can be a rolling thing as well. So that.